chosen one. You did not arrive here by chance. Heaven has ordered your steps to this exact moment because something in the unseen has begun to shift in your favor. You are standing at the threshold of a supernatural breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer prepared long before you ever prayed for it. What you are sensing is real. What you are feeling is prophetic. Even now, God is moving pieces, aligning timing and positioning you for what eyes have not seen. Chosen one, still your spirit and open your heart. This is your Kairos moment, and heaven is ready to speak. Chosen one, in this season of your life, silence is not a retreat. It is not fear. It is not hesitation. It is spiritual strategy. Heaven is moving with a precision that the natural world cannot comprehend, and God is guiding you into a realm where quietness becomes your greatest armor. There are moments in a believer's journey when God says, "Speak," but there are also moments when He whispers, "Be still," and "Chosen one." You are standing in that second kind of moment, the sacred kind, the rare kind, the kind where silence becomes a key that unlocks things noise could only sabotage. You may not fully know why the urge to withdraw, to protect, to stay hidden has risen within you lately. But hear me clearly, nothing about this shift is random. What heaven is forming in you is delicate, like the first sprout breaking through the soil, alive, divine, powerful, but easily threatened by premature exposure. I remember seasons when I shared too much too soon, moments when excitement made me talk instead of listen. And every time I revealed what God wasn't ready for the world to see, something that should have flourished ended up delayed. That's how I learned not every revelation is meant for public release. Some are meant to be carried quietly, nurtured in the shadows, and protected like treasure. The Anointed One understands timing, and timing is the battleground of destiny. Chosen one. There is something God is birthing through you right now that cannot handle unnecessary eyes, unnecessary voices, or unnecessary opinions. The spiritual sensitivity you feel, that strange stirring, that internal stretching, that quiet pressure, is not weakness. It is evidence that heaven is crafting something bigger than you imagined. You may feel the temptation to post about your progress, to tell someone what God told you, to announce the promise before the proof. But deep down, your spirit already knows this is not that kind of season. You don't need validation, applause, or acknowledgement. This chapter of your life is not about being seen, it is about being prepared. And I know how that feels. I've had moments where I wanted someone to understand the process, to witness the growth, to affirm the change happening inside me. But every time I ran to people before I ran to God, I traded wisdom for emotion. I traded clarity for confusion. I traded momentum for delay. It was only when I surrendered to silence, when I stopped explaining, stopped defending, stopped oversharing, that God began to move without interference. Silence became my shelter, and now it is becoming yours. Because chosen one, what God is doing in your life right now is holy. It's not for display. It's not for validation. It's not for spectators. This transformation is for you and God alone. You have stepped into a divine agreement, a sacred covenant, written not in words, but in obedience. And when God chooses to elevate a person quietly, it is because the destiny attached to them is too weighty to be handled casually. Think about it. Every major move God ever made started in secrecy. Moses was hidden. David was anointed privately. Jesus grew in obscurity before revealing his purpose. Elevation always begins in silence. So if you've been feeling hidden, overlooked, or invisible, it is not rejection, it is protection. Heaven is teaching you the discipline of stillness, because stillness is where spiritual power matures. The resistance you've felt recently, the pushback, the misunderstandings, the judgments, the loneliness, is not evidence that you're losing ground. It's proof that you're gaining it. The enemy always attacks what he cannot access, and your silence has made you inaccessible. Your stillness has made you unpredictable. Your obedience has made you unstoppable. Chosen one. God is not just preparing to answer your prayer, He is protecting the promise attached to it. That's why certain doors closed. That's why some people drifted away. That's why conversations felt muted. That's why opportunities slowed. Every delay you interpreted as failure was actually God saying, "Not yet. I'm preparing something bigger than what you're asking for." What is shifting now is not small. It is structural. It is foundational. It is generational. You are stepping into a season where blessings won't trickle, they will overtake you. Where ideas will return, creativity will rise, and clarity will flow like fresh water over dry ground. Where peace will feel like a blanket over your spirit, and strength will feel like new fire in your bones. You will rise in the morning with a sense of divine renewal, as if heaven touched your breath while you were sleeping. And the more silent you become, the louder God moves. This is why pressure has increased. This is why your spirit feels stretched. You're not breaking, you are expanding. God is enlarging your capacity, because what's coming requires more room than the old version of you could hold. Chosen one, you are not just being blessed. You are being transformed. You are not just being prepared. You are being positioned. This is your moment, the moment where heaven's timeline intersects with your obedience. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one. Now that the foundations of silence, protection, and alignment have been laid, we step into something even deeper, the reality that heaven is lifting burdens you've carried for years. The heaviness you've felt, the invisible pressure sitting on your spirit, the emotional weight that has followed you through seasons, God is removing it with a quiet finality that only heaven can orchestrate. You don't need dramatic proof. You don't need visible signs. You don't need people to acknowledge it. The shift is happening spiritually before it appears naturally. I remember when God began removing certain voices from my life. People I loved, people I trusted, people I thought would walk with me forever. At first, I thought it was rejection or failure. But with time, I understood when heaven is preparing to elevate you, it clears the atmosphere before it lifts you. I didn't lose people. God simply filtered my environment. And chosen one, that is exactly what He is doing for you right now. Every person who tried to silence your voice, dull your light, or drain your spirit, they are fading like smoke in the wind. Every critic, every manipulator, every jealous heart, every deceiver, every energy that worked against your calling, heaven is wiping them out without noise, without conflict, without explanation. This isn't revenge. It is divine cleansing, a supernatural reset. Chosen. One, God is protecting the version of you that is emerging. You're not just being kept safe from others, you're being kept safe from who you used to be. The old fears, the old habits, the old patterns of people-pleasing, the old need for validation, the old desire to be understood. All of it is dissolving. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer needs the approval of those who were never assigned to your destiny. And as God clears your surroundings, peace is rushing in. There is a peace coming that will feel strange at first, like a quiet room after years of noise. A peace that feels almost unfamiliar because battles have defined so much of your journey. But this peace is not emptiness, it is evidence. The air is clearing because heaven has declared that your warfare season has ended. For years you've been stretched emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You've carried responsibilities that no one saw. You've survived storms that would have broken others. You've endured conversations that bruised your confidence and environments that suffocated your purpose. You didn't crumble, you matured. And now God is rewarding you with clarity, strength, and rest. This is the season where you rise refreshed, not drained. Where you walk with clarity, not confusion. Where you breathe deeply, not anxiously. Where you move deliberately, not desperately. And that is where divine favor begins to find you. Chosen one, blessings are about to overtake you not because you chased them, but because you aligned with heaven. Sudden breakthroughs, unexpected open doors, financial opportunities that feel heaven-sent, windfalls that come quietly like whispers, promotion without promotion, favor without force, resources arriving like divine messengers. These aren't random occurrences. They are signs. They are confirmations that you have stepped into God's timing. When your rhythm matches heaven's rhythm, blessings don't need to be pursued. They find you, they pursue you, they overtake you. And this goes far beyond money. This is about emotional freedom, waking up without the dread you used to carry. It's about physical vitality, feeling energy return to your body like lost time redeemed. It's about spiritual awakening, glimpses, insights, and sudden clarity that cannot be explained logically. It's about joy, joy without a reason, joy that doesn't require permission. It's about deep inner peace, the kind no circumstance can steal. I've had seasons where I didn't recognize myself, not because I was lost, but because God renewed me so completely that my reflection carried a different spirit. I saw new fire in my eyes, a softness in my heart, a steadiness in my voice. And when I looked closely, I realized it wasn't that I became stronger. It was that God restored what life had drained out of me. Chosen one, the same restoration is coming upon you. You will look in the mirror and see more than a person. You will see purpose. You will see someone who was pressed but not crushed. Someone who was delayed but not denied. Someone who survived the shadows and now carries the light. Your spirit is being reconstructed. Your joy is being resurrected. Your hope is being reborn. And as this inner transformation unfolds, the outer world will shift accordingly. People will treat you differently without knowing why. Rooms will feel different when you walk in. Opportunities will be drawn to you like a magnet. Why? Because heaven is marking you publicly after developing you privately. Your presence will carry weight. Your words will carry authority. Your silence will carry power. This is the beginning of the supernatural restoration of your life, the era of divine abundance, divine order, divine peace. Hold steady, chosen one. The shadows are behind you. The light is rising. Your soul is remembering how to live again. And this journey continues. Chosen one, this moment you are stepping into is not an accident. It is the manifestation of something ancient, something spoken over your life long before you were old enough to understand destiny or sensitive enough to discern the movements of heaven. What you are feeling now, the pressure, the shift, the quiet stirring in your spirit, is not confusion. It is confirmation. It is the gentle announcement that your life has reached a divine turning point, one that has been building for years beneath the surface of everything you've lived through. When you look back at your journey, you may see chaos, delay, heartbreak, or seasons of painful silence. But heaven sees construction. Heaven sees preparation. Heaven sees the strengthening of someone who was chosen to carry a promise too heavy for weak foundations. Every loss that stripped you, every door that refused to open, every relationship that broke before it blossomed, none of it was wasted. They were not punishments. They were rehearsals. They were sharpening tools, forging the character needed to hold what is coming next. So many times you asked why certain things didn't work out for you the way they worked out for others. You wondered why your process seemed slower, heavier, more costly. But now you are beginning to understand your path was never supposed to look like theirs. You are not ordinary, you are not common, you are not one among many, you are chosen, and chosen vessels experience chosen pressure. The weight was never meant to break you, it was meant to build you. I have known this feeling myself, praying for elevation before I was ready to stand on the mountain, asking for influence before my heart was equipped to carry responsibility, begging for breakthrough without knowing the strength required to keep it. There were seasons when God's silence felt like abandonment, when unanswered prayers felt like rejection, when delays felt like closed heavens. But in time, I learned a truth that only maturity reveals. God's silence is often His highest form of protection. He withholds blessings that would crush you if they came too early. He blocks opportunities that would distract you from your calling. He removes people who cannot accompany you into your next chapter. He slows your timeline so your spirit can grow to match your assignment. This is why certain things didn't happen when you asked for them, not because God said no, but because He was saying, not yet. I am not just preparing the blessing, I am preparing you. And now, chosen one, you have reached the moment when preparation meets purpose. The pressure you feel isn't the threat of collapse, it is the final tightening before release. It is spiritual labor, the kind that precedes birth. Something in you is expanding, stretching, awakening. A version of you that you have not yet met is emerging from the silence. You are being shaped into the person who can hold divine promotion, supernatural favor, and the kind of breakthrough that transforms everything. Heaven is not slow. Heaven is strategic. Every delay had intention behind it. Every disappointment redirected you to something better. Every unanswered prayer preserved the parts of you that needed time to mature. What looked like stagnation was actually gestation. What felt like stillness was alignment. What seemed like isolation was insulation from spiritual interference. You are now entering a season when what was hidden becomes revealed, when what was fragile becomes strong, and when what was forming in darkness begins to surface with clarity. The spiritual architecture surrounding your life is shifting not in chaos, but in design. Doors that were sealed are unlocking. People who were kept at a distance will be replaced by those heaven has prepared. The opportunities that bypassed you before are circling back, not in scarcity, but in multiplied form. Chosen one. You have been built for endurance, and endurance has produced something powerful in you: discernment. You now see through people more clearly. You sense spiritual shifts before they materialize. You identify distractions faster, and you recognize divine alignment when it stands in front of you. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is one of your greatest weapons. The world will never understand the cost of your silence, the moments you wanted to defend yourself, but didn't, the battles you fought privately, the tears you swallowed, rather than explaining your pain to people who lacked the capacity to understand it. But heaven saw it all. And heaven rewards what is done in secret. The quiet strength you cultivated is now becoming divine leverage. You are entering a chapter where your life will begin to speak for itself. Elevation will not require explanation. Favor will not require permission. Breakthrough will not require announcement. Everything God is about to do will be so clear, so undeniable, so marked by heaven that even your enemies will be silenced by the evidence of His hand upon you. This is why silence was required. This is why stillness was essential. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. And now the positioning is complete. You stand at the edge of divine transformation, fully equipped, fully aligned, and fully ready for what heaven has orchestrated. Chosen one. The season you are entering will not look like anything you have lived through before. It is greater. It is deeper. It is yours. Chosen one. When heaven begins to reposition your life, the shift rarely announces itself with noise. It comes quietly, almost imperceptibly at first, like a soft internal rearranging that only your spirit can detect. You begin to notice that things which once held your attention no longer satisfy you. Conversations that used to excite you now feel empty. Environments that once felt comfortable begin to feel too small for the person you are becoming. This discomfort is not a sign that you are losing your way. It is evidence that you are outgrowing what was never meant to hold you in your next season. There is always a moment in a chosen person's journey when the inner world transforms before the outer world catches up. This is that moment for you. The shift is happening inside first. Your desires are changing. Your priorities are changing. Even your thoughts are breaking old patterns and forming new pathways. You feel pulled towards something higher, even if you cannot yet define it. This pull is divine. It is heaven drawing you into alignment with your true assignment. I remember experiencing this same spiritual dissonance, that strange tension between where I was and where I knew I was meant to be. Nothing dramatic happened, but something deep inside whispered, "You can't stay here." At the time, I thought something was wrong with me. I didn't realize God was elevating my spirit before He elevated my surroundings. What felt like restlessness was actually preparation. What felt like dissatisfaction was awakening. And what seemed like confusion was the beginning of divine clarity. Chosen one, you are in that place now. This inner shift is not random. You are being prepared to receive something that your old level could not sustain. Heaven will not place new oil in an unprepared vessel. So, God begins by stretching your identity, refining your vision, and cleansing your atmosphere. That's why certain friendships have faded. That's why certain opportunities fell apart. It's not because you did anything wrong, it's because God is protecting the next chapter of your life from interference, contamination, and unnecessary weight. There are people who were allowed to walk with you in your past season who cannot follow you into your future one. Not because they are bad, but because they are misaligned. Destiny has requirements. Purpose has boundaries. Calling has consequences. And the higher your calling, the tighter your circle becomes. Many chosen ones learn this the hard way, mistaking divine separation for abandonment. But separation is mercy. Separation is protection. Separation is preparation for elevation. This is why God has been silent about certain things in your life. Not because He wants to frustrate you, but because He is teaching you the discipline of sacred secrecy. Some breakthroughs must incubate in silence. Some victories must be formed away from public eyes. You are not in a holding pattern. You are in a holy pattern. Heaven is establishing a new rhythm in your life, one built on trust, restraint, and obedience. Silence is not passive. Silence is active spiritual strategy. Chosen one, think of a seed. Before it breaks the soil and becomes visible, it lives in darkness. It grows in stillness. It expands in hidden places. The world cannot see its progress, but the growth is real, intentional, and unstoppable. You are in that stage. Heaven is expanding you beneath the surface. The roots are taking hold, the foundations are strengthening, and soon what has been forming in private will burst into the open with undeniable force. You may not realize it, but heaven has already issued the command over your life: accelerate. Things that once moved slowly will begin to shift rapidly. Opportunities that were delayed will suddenly arrive. Doors that were sealed shut will swing wide without effort on your part. Divine acceleration isn't about speed, it's about timing. And you have finally reached your Kairos moment, that sacred window where divine timing meets earthly readiness. This is why your spirit feels so alert, even if your circumstances still appear unchanged. Your spirit has sensed what your eyes have not yet seen. Heaven has already begun rearranging your path. Conversations are happening about you in rooms you have not entered yet. People are feeling drawn to help you without knowing why. Resources are aligning themselves to your needs. The supernatural is quietly weaving itself through the natural, setting up moments that will feel like miracles, but are really the fulfillment of promises spoken over your life long ago. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where clarity replaces confusion. You will begin to understand why certain seasons felt heavier, why certain prayers took so long, why God allowed certain storms to hit your life. Everything will begin to make sense, not through explanation, but through revelation. What once felt like delay will be revealed as divine choreography. What once felt like loss will be revealed as strategic redirection. What once felt like punishment will be revealed as protection. There is a weight of glory settling over you, quiet, steady, unmistakable. You may feel it as a sudden calm. You may feel it as a strengthening confidence. You may feel it as a gentle knowing deep in your chest that something is unfolding in your favor. Do not dismiss this feeling. That is the signature of heaven. That is God whispering, you are ready. So breathe deeply, chosen one. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are aligned. And heaven is about to reveal what it has been building for you all along. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every destiny when heaven shifts the ground beneath your feet, not to shake you, but to establish you. This season you're stepping into is not about noise or performance. It is about alignment, sacred restraint, and divine positioning. You may not feel ready. You may still feel the sting of old disappointments or the weight of being misunderstood. But heaven has not miscalculated your timing. Everything in your life up to now, the delays, the battles, the silence, even the loneliness has been shaping the version of you that can carry what's arriving next. There is a deep truth the anointed eventually learn. Not every victory is meant to be announced, and not every blessing is meant to be shared before its appointed hour. You are undergoing a supernatural refinement, the kind that happens in quiet rooms and unseen spaces. And though the silence has felt like isolation, it has actually been insulation. God has been protecting the blueprint of your next chapter from voices, energies, and environments not calibrated to your calling. What you are carrying is delicate, not because you are weak, but because what God is building within you is still forming. Think of a seed beneath the soil. Before it breaks through the surface, it must remain hidden. It must be sheltered from premature exposure, from hands that could interfere, from people who might stomp on it or mistake it for nothing. Your silence is not emptiness. Your silence is a sanctuary. Inside that quiet space, God is shaping strategies, rearranging relationships, and aligning opportunities that will meet you at the exact moment you need them. Chosen one. I know the urge. You feel the desire to prove you're growing, to explain that you've changed, to show the world you're no longer who you once were. But the version of you that needs to be validated is the version God is removing. The version emerging now carries a different kind of authority, the kind that does not need to speak to be recognized. Your presence alone will shift atmospheres. Your peace will testify. Your alignment will announce you in ways your voice never could. And this is where the transformation deepens. You're beginning to notice that old distractions no longer pull you the same way. Conversations that once drained you now feel foreign. Environments that once fit you now feel too small. This is not you becoming distant. This is you evolving. You're shedding versions of yourself that were built for survival so you can stand fully in the identity God crafted for purpose. And truthfully, not everyone will understand this shift. Some will misinterpret your quietness, your boundaries, your withdrawal, your discipline. But that is why God is urging you to stay silent. Your transformation is not up for debate. There is a sacredness to being chosen that cannot be explained with ordinary language. People see your calm, but they don't see the storms God already silenced. They see your strength, but they don't see the nights you nearly collapsed under the weight of obedience. They see your composure, but they don't see the battles God fought on your behalf while you slept. They may assume you are moving forward casually, but heaven knows the truth. You are advancing with weapons forged in seasons that broke others. Chosen one. Your life is shifting into a supernatural pace, the kind where what once took years will begin unfolding in months, weeks, even days. The momentum forming around you is not random. It is divine acceleration. Doors that resisted you before will now open on their own. People who overlooked you will now be drawn to your light. Situations that felt stagnant will begin moving with clarity. But with all of this, God gives one command: guard your mouth. Not because He wants you hidden, but because He wants your miracle protected. There is a particular danger in sharing too soon. It exposes the fragile outlines of a promise to people who see through the lens of their own limitations. Someone else's doubt becomes a seed planted in your atmosphere. Someone else's jealousy becomes contamination in your soil. Someone else's misunderstanding becomes interference in your spirit. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is preservation. And so in this season, your strength is not in what you declare publicly, but in what you steward privately. Your greatest victories will begin in quiet rooms. Your deepest revelations will come when no one is watching. Your most necessary breakthroughs will happen when you choose obedience over explanation, restraint over reaction, alignment over applause. You may feel the tension, the internal stretching, the subtle awareness that something holy is unfolding inside you. That is the sound of destiny making room. That is the weight of new capacity forming. That is the signature of divine preparation. And though you cannot yet see the fullness of what God is doing, your spirit recognizes the shift. The atmosphere around you has changed. Chosen one. When you are closer than you realize, and the proof is simple, heaven has placed you in a season where silence becomes your greatest weapon and obedience becomes your gateway to overflow. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep moving in quiet confidence. God is building the miracle that will soon speak for itself. Chosen one. As this journey continues, I want you to understand something profound about the season you are stepping into. What God is doing in your life right now does not resemble anything you have walked through before. This is not a repeated cycle, a familiar test, or another round of spiritual endurance. This is a divine reordering, a supernatural rearranging of everything connected to your name. The patterns that once held you, the fears that once silenced you, and the people who once misread you are losing their grip, not because you forced anything, but because heaven itself is shifting the atmosphere around you. There is a quiet power forming inside of you, a settled authority, a stillness that does not come from resignation, but revelation. You are beginning to understand that your silence is not emptiness. Your silence is sanctuary. It is the place where God hides you, heals you, and prepares you for what comes next. And while you may not see the full picture, you can feel the tremors of change beneath your feet. Something in your spirit knows that life, as you have known it, is being rewritten by the hand of God. This is why old environments are starting to feel strange, almost too small for the person you are becoming. It is why certain conversations no longer feel aligned, even if you cannot explain why. Your spirit is evolving faster than your surroundings, and that inner stretching is heaven's way of saying, "Rise, because I am lifting you higher." The misalignment you feel is not confusion, it is confirmation. God is preparing to plant you in spaces where your anointing is recognized instead of ignored, where your voice carries authority instead of resistance, and where your presence is seen as a blessing, not a threat. Chosen one. The fog that once clouded your judgment is lifting. Clarity is returning slowly at first, then suddenly. You will begin to look at situations that once overwhelmed you and wonder why you ever feared them. You will revisit past wounds and realize that what once devastated you no longer has power over you. God has been parting the internal fog, showing you the truth behind people's actions, revealing hidden motives, and helping you detach from what was draining your spirit. This clarity is not a coincidence, it is deliverance disguised as revelation. For years, you walked through seasons where nothing seemed to make sense. You were faithful, yet overlooked. Obedient, yet misunderstood. Growing, yet restrained. But now, you will finally see what God was doing behind the scenes. The delays were not punishment, they were protection. The silence was not abandonment, it was divine strategy. The unanswered prayers were not denial. They were preparation for something far greater than you imagined. You're entering a time where the pieces of your life begin fitting together like a puzzle, finally revealing its full picture. Every disappointment had a purpose. Every heartbreak had a lesson. Every setback was carrying you toward a destiny you could not have reached any other way. And now, like the first light after a long night, understanding is dawning inside you. What once felt like chaos now feels intentional. What once felt like loss now feels necessary. What once felt like delay now feels like perfect timing. Chosen one. This is your sunrise moment. The long night you endured has completed its assignment. The darkness that once surrounded you has served its purpose. It broke what needed breaking, exposed what needed exposing, strengthened what needed strengthening, and awakened what needed awakening. Now the horizon is beginning to glow with the first signs of renewal. Your spirit is no longer weary, it is rising. Your heart is no longer aching, it is expanding. Your hope is no longer flickering, it is burning brighter than ever before. From this moment forward, you will no longer walk as someone waiting for permission or validation. You will walk as someone who knows they are led. Every step will be guided. Every move will be aligned. Every decision will carry the weight of divine wisdom. You are not wandering anymore. You are walking with purpose, clarity, and supernatural momentum. God is no longer preparing to act on your behalf. He is acting. The chain reaction has already begun. The winds of favor are already blowing. The acceleration has already been activated. What was slow will now surge. What was impossible will now unfold. What was withheld will now be released. The shift is not coming. The shift is here. And you, chosen one, are not merely witnessing it, you are stepping boldly into it. Chosen one. As you continue walking through this unfolding season of divine acceleration, something deeper is awakening within you, something older than your pain and stronger than your past. You are beginning to see that every step, every delay, every moment of silence was not empty space. It was alignment. It was God positioning you with precision for a supernatural unveiling that only heaven could orchestrate. There comes a moment in every chosen life when the fog begins to lift and the heart finally understands what the Spirit has been whispering all along. You're not lost. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You were being prepared. And now, in this sacred transition, clarity is returning like the sunrise after a long night. You're seeing what you once could only feel. You're discerning what you once only sensed. And the reality of God's timing is settling into your bones. This newfound clarity isn't loud. It arrives quietly like a soft breeze carrying revelation. Suddenly, people who once drained you no longer have the same access. Environments that once felt familiar now feel too small. Conversations that once entertained you now fall flat. This is not moodiness. This is ascension. Your spirit is rising, and the higher you go, the less noise you can tolerate. The more God reveals, the more silence becomes your strategy. This is the spiritual maturity heaven has been birthing in you. As you step into this new frequency, you will notice that your presence is shifting rooms long before you say a word. Chosen one. This is authority, not the loud kind, not the arrogant kind, but the divine kind. The kind that comes from endurance, obedience, and private covenant. The kind that cannot be imitated because it was born in battles no one saw. Your quiet becomes a statement. Your restraint becomes a weapon. Your peace becomes a testimony that confuses the enemy and attracts heaven. This inner transformation is not only spiritual. It is also practical, emotional, and physical. You will feel a new confidence in your decisions, not rooted in ego, but in alignment. You will no longer second-guess what God has already confirmed. You will no longer apologize for boundaries that protect the promise inside you. You will no longer shrink to make others comfortable. This next era of your life doesn't require a smaller version of you. It requires the you that God sculpted in silence. And with this clarity comes movement. You're stepping into a season where your steps are not random, they are orchestrated. Doors will open because your spirit recognizes where you belong. Connections will appear because heaven has spoken your name in places you've never been. People will come into your life not to distract you, but to accelerate you. These are not coincidences. These are divine alignments. Heaven is placing strategic individuals in your path, encouragers, builders, partners, mentors, intercessors, each carrying a piece of the greater assignment God has placed over your life. Chosen one, understand this deeply. Your rise is not only about you. You are a living continuation of a prophecy spoken long before you were born. Every hardship, every tear, every unanswered prayer has brought you to this moment, a moment heaven has been preparing for years. This is not a random breakthrough. It is the manifestation of a divine timeline. You may feel something shifting in your body too. A calm where there was chaos, a strength where there was fatigue, a renewed trust replacing old fear. This is spiritual restoration taking form in the natural. God is not only changing your circumstances, He is changing you so you can stand under the weight of what is coming. You are stepping into a future designed for someone healed, not someone hurting. Someone awakened, not someone afraid, and with every step forward, something remarkable happens. The past loses its authority. Old wounds lose their sting. Old fears lose their voice. You begin to realize that what once held you back is now becoming the foundation of your power. God is flipping the narrative not to erase your story, but to redeem it in a way that could only be divine. What was meant to break you is now the very thing lifting you. This is your sunrise, chosen one. The long night served its purpose. The waiting built your wisdom. The silence built your strength. And now, as clarity settles over your life, one truth rises above it all. God is no longer preparing to move. He is moving. You are no longer merely surviving. You are rising with purpose, with power, and with heaven beside you. Chosen one, as the shift in your spirit grows stronger, you will begin to sense that the atmosphere around you is no longer the same. What once felt heavy now feels lighter. What once felt confusing now carries a quiet clarity. This is not your imagination. This is the evidence that heaven has entered your timeline. Something sacred is unfolding, not in the distant future, but here, right now. You are stepping into a moment where the unseen is becoming visible, where what you only felt is starting to take form. And the most powerful thing you can do in this moment is stay surrendered, stay aligned, and stay silent before the Lord. This new season requires a different version of you, a wiser, quieter, more spiritually discerning version. The chosen one inside you is awakening. You are beginning to recognize what is holy and what is harmful. You are noticing which environments drain your soul and which conversations pull you away from your purpose. And without effort, without conflict, without dramatic exits, you will watch these things fade from your life. Not because you changed, but because God elevated the frequency of your spirit. When your spirit ascends, anything that cannot breathe at that level will naturally fall away. This is why certain people are becoming distant. It is why certain opportunities no longer excite you. It is why certain habits suddenly feel out of place. Your spirit is outgrowing what your past once called normal. God is pruning your atmosphere so that nothing contaminated can travel with you into your divine assignment. This is not loss. This is alignment. This is heaven making room for the new. Chosen one. You will feel a new authority forming in you. A quiet authority. A presence that speaks even when you say nothing. You will enter rooms and people will look up without knowing why. Something in your energy, your posture, your silence, your spirit will interrupt the space. This is what happens when God clothes a person with glory. You don't have to announce anything. You don't have to prove anything. God becomes your introduction. This is also why He trained you in silence. He taught you how to hold back your words, how to guard your spirit, how to listen more deeply. Silence became your teacher, not your prison. And now the reward of that silence is beginning to reveal itself. Where confusion once lived, understanding rises. Where fear once whispered peace, now settles like a blanket. Where you once felt alone, you suddenly feel accompanied. Heaven has surrounded you with guidance, direction, and protection. Chosen one. Understand this, what looked like delay was actually choreography. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every quiet night when you felt forgotten, all of it was God aligning the pieces you couldn't see. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. And now those pieces are locking into place like a divine puzzle, finally revealing its image. This is why your spirit feels lighter. This is why clarity is returning. The fog is lifting because you are entering the part of your journey God prepared long before you were ready for it. This is your sunrise moment. The long night served its purpose, but it is ending now. You are stepping into a divine illumination, a clarity that does not come from logic, but from revelation. You no longer have to guess. You no longer have to beg. You no longer have to wonder whether you are on the right path. You will know. Deeply, instinctively, undeniably, chosen one. You are being guided, every step is being ordered, every decision is being aligned, every moment is being infused with holy momentum. God is not merely responding to your faith, He is accelerating your path. What once took months will take days. What once took years will unfold in moments. But even in acceleration, silence will remain your greatest strength. So walk with intention. Walk with reverence. Walk with the awareness that heaven is watching over every detail of your life. You don't need to announce what God is doing. You don't need to convince anyone of your change. The transformation on you will speak louder than your words ever could. This is your rising chosen one. Step forward quietly, boldly, faithfully into what God has prepared for you. Chosen one. As we stand at this sacred ending, let your spirit receive what heaven has already begun. This is your Kairos moment, the exact divine second where God's quiet movement becomes undeniable. What has been shifting in silence is now rising in power. You are stepping into a supernatural transfer, a release of provision, clarity, and strength that has already started flowing toward you. Chosen one, feel this truth settle in your spirit. You are not behind, you are aligned. You are not waiting, you are stepping. Every hidden act of obedience, every silent prayer, every restrained word has opened a path that only heaven could create. I speak blessing over you now. May divine insight guide your steps. May peace surround every decision. May strength fill every place that once felt empty. And may the favor assigned to your name locate you without delay. The same God who whispered to your spirit is now confirming your path. Chosen one, remain faithful. Stay quiet when the world pulls for noise. Move with the certainty of one protected by heaven. Look ahead with gratitude, because what's coming is better than what you asked for. If this word touched your spirit, share your confirmation in the comments. And if you feel led, stay connected. More is unfolding, and your story is only beginning.